Hi, I'm Brock Woodhouse with WNN, the Wildcat News Network, and welcome to this week's edition of the Woodhouse Report. Marcellus varsity football has had incredible back-to-back wins in the last 2 weeks, beating Muskegon Heights 64-12 on homecoming 2 weeks ago, and this previous week traveling to Wyoming Lee and beating them 52-0 at home. This week the Cats face the Lawrence Tigers in their first Southwest 10 conference matchup game. This week will also be the MHS Athletic Hall of Fame game. 4 inductees from Marcellus's athletic past will be honored to be inducted into the MHS Athletic Hall of Fame. There will be a reception at 6 in the gym, and the athletes will be honored at halftime of the game. Be there or be square. Now we go to our band announcements with 3 members of our MHS varsity football team.
Hey Wildcats! We have an important band announcement for you!
On Tuesday, October 14th, the MSVOA District 6 Marching Band Festival will take place at Bangor High School.
The Marcellus Wildcat Marching Band will be competing at the festival.
We wish the marching band good luck at the festival.
And we encourage you to show your support as well.
Thank you all. Up next, we have an exclusive interview with MHS's new superintendent. I'm here now with Marcellus Community School's new superintendent, Dr. Michael Dunn. Dr. Dunn was formerly the assistant superintendent for Dowagiac Union Schools and started here at Marcellus in July of this year. Dr. Dunn, you being a newer face around Marcellus, what is one thing that you would like everyone to know about you personally?
Well, the one thing I want everyone to know, Brock, is that I really am a nice guy, and all I ask is that you're just good people and you do what you're supposed to do. But please don't make me be the other side of that guy, which is the mean, ugly guy, which is where I have to do the job that I don't like to do. And so I always like to see you guys do well. I hate to see when you're in trouble. I hate to see anyone else get in trouble. That's the part of the job no one likes to do.
Absolutely.
But I get paid to do. So of course I'll do that job. But that's what I want people to know. That really I am a friendly, kind person. You can come up, say hi, talk to me. I don't know most people by face because I'm the new one, right?
Right.
So it's easy to identify me. So I always ask, if you do see me, come up and say hi and give your name. And I will try to, of course, remember all, a couple thousand of us here. But again, I don't bite, so just come up and say hi and I'll work on remembering names.
Absolutely. So how long have you been involved in the education system in general?
Well, if we're going to count since I was in kindergarten, it feels like forever.
So mostly just working.
Yeah, but working-wise. So 29, I think is what I'm on now, 29 years in the business is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
All I've ever known is education. I started at age 6 because in Indiana you couldn't start early at going on age 5, so you had to be at least 6. And I'm a November baby, so it put me a little bit, which is the way it works.
Right.
But here I am, I'm going on 51 this year, so
Really?
you do the quick math, right? That's 40 some odd years in the business of just being in school, playing school, and then going to school to be in school, and then working in school, right?
Yeah.
But almost 29 years working in schools, and from being a teacher to being a principal, and which people think is funny because I was a high school teacher and I was an elementary principal, and they have a hard time marrying the two because they're like, how could you do this and be this?
It's just a whole different range.
Whole different, and then done central office and now superintendent, so it's all great.
Absolutely. So what has been one of your most memorable experiences with any school, any kids, anything thus far?
Wow, I've got some in every, you know what I mean?
Right.
One of them was, I was a young principal and was, I'll say young and dumb, and said, of course I'll do the dunk tank. And we did dunk for reading. And the first year was okay, because, a few kids made their reading goals and you did the dunk tank a few times.
Right.
My 8th year in doing that, I think it went down almost 100 times.
Wow.
With almost the whole school getting their goal met. So again, young and doing a dunk tank. So that was very memorable. But every place has had something, to say the least. But no, like I said, I'm hoping to make a lot of memories here too.
Absolutely. So many people, like myself included, are not exactly inclined to the roles of a superintendent. So you're the big boss of the school. That's more of a given. But what exactly are like the duties of a superintendent?
So one of the biggest jobs is that really I always say the unofficial 8th board member in our district. So we have 7 board members who really are in charge of our district, who say this is the policies, here's what we expect as a community for your learning.
Right.
And so that is my job then, is to take and advocate and make sure all those things happen when it comes to how we're going to go about what you should be taught, the way it should be taught, how we're going to look at the buildings and upkeep on the buildings, the finance piece, big piece of that as well. So it's really like a CEO of a business.
Right.
Keeping track and managing everyone who's really doing the hard work. Not that I don't roll up my sleeves, because we're a small district, so of course, you probably saw me taking tickets at the gate.
Yeah.
Because we have to in a small district. In a larger district, you probably wouldn't see a superintendent do that.
Right, but they have more people to do that,
Oh,
so
right.
you wouldn't have to step in.
Right, but we're a big community of volunteers, so
Absolutely.
but that's the real role, like a CEO, making sure that people are doing what they need to be doing, the bills get paid, the teachers are teaching, the principals are, doing their job. So that's really it in a nutshell,
Right.
which is a lot different than the previous jobs I've had, because it's usually getting the nuts and bolts and working in all those details.
Yeah. Okay, so what other places have you worked at previously? And so, sorry, you've worked at other places previously. What exactly drew you to Marcellus?
So I do have a wide variety, which is good and bad. It's scary to some people.
Right.
They go, well, he's been around, but I was trained that you get a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, I was in Indianapolis. Big difference than, say, Marcellus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's in the Indy proper has close to 900,000 people, and then when you do the surrounding townships, it's like 1.1 million. So that's pretty large, and it's urban, and it's a whole different clientele. Lots of different needs. So that was really nice versus, say, for instance, being in Dowagiac, which somewhat urban, but smaller, much smaller, but
Yeah.
still, but at least twice our size.
Yeah.
So again, lots of variety. But what really drew me to Marcellus was that I grew up in Gary, Indiana. So I've always grown up in an urban, kind of a high-stress environment.
Hmm?
And Marcellus is so opposite. We've got really great kids with a great community, and they want the best. They do the best they can, and how could you not appreciate? How could you, having experienced the day-to-day, high-intensity, concrete jungle that I grew up in, how could you not want and appreciate?
Right.
So I always tell you guys who come from rural places, please go out in the world and see that, because I have a feeling you'll come back to Marcellus. I think you'll eventually want to come back, because you'll realize it's not scary, but it's a little different.
Yeah.
And you'll really appreciate what you really had.
Right.
So
And
that's a
it's
big
nice
attraction.
to just slow down and not have to worry about all the hectic crazy. I mean, I'm sure it's still hectic crazy because you are the big boss, but it's not the same. So what are some challenges that we do and will face both now and in the future?
I think the biggest challenge for us in a small rural district is that we have to do as much as we can and even more with less. And that's hard in today's world. Yes, we just got a new education budget. No one really cares about that. But what I do know is it does give some more money to the table, but it does bring a lot more money for us. And so what we have to do is we have to figure out how we can use what we have to make sure you get what you need. And right now, not to be doom and gloom, but if anyone really got on our roofs and saw the air conditioning units that are 50 some odd years old, or if they were to see the roofs, that how we patchwork them to repair in places, we have to patchwork because we can't just put $1.1 million to put a whole new roof on a high school. And so that's the challenge we have in a small district, is that we're always continually having to figure out how to do small little repairs to keep it looking and operating as in the best way we can.
Right.
And when you look from the outside, they look like pretty nice buildings.
Yeah.
And when you come in, they look like pretty nice buildings. And that's great, except if anyone really knew the inside workings, they're pretty, we're almost Halloween, it's almost pretty decrepit, you know what I mean? It's pretty scary, like, ooh, how are we doing this? So those are the challenges for us as a small district. How do we keep everyone, seeing it's great and it looks great, but keeping that running, because it has to run for you guys. I mean, you need the roof, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think what Ray and I did during, a computer class, so.
It'd be nice sometimes in the summer when it gets real hot, but.
That's a little different.
Not usually, no.
Right.
And it is nice, and I feel like overall organizationally, we do a pretty good job of keeping everything running and in check and making sure everyone's pretty happy most of the time, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do a pretty good
And
job.
I want to give a shout out, because I inherited a great system where many people don't realize, we call it the lean years in Marcellus, where we didn't have money and it was cash strapped. And Mrs. Pauly, our former superintendent, really had a hard job having to maintain, hold the line, and make that happen. So, she gets a lot of credit in having to hold this district together with that. And it's a new day now. We're not in the same place where she started. And I wish she I really wish she could have had a few more years to be able to enjoy what I'm going to get to hopefully enjoy with you guys, which is how we start developing and building and spending some money that we used to not be able to.
Right.
Because it's so hard being that ugly person that says, no, you can't buy that. No, we can't afford that.
Right.
Because we just didn't really have any money. So that I want to give her a shout out. She's really held that together. So we're in a good place to move forward.
Absolutely. So what is one thing directly in the future that you're hoping to change for the better here at Marcellus?
Well, I'm hoping, as I said to the teachers on our opening day, I just want to see us innovate. And innovation isn't about you take everything and throw it out the window and you start new.
Right.
We do a lot of things here well, and we do some things that are really great, but we can do them even better. And so we just need to look at how we can do that so we can keep honoring what we're doing and change it. So give you an example. We had a student who wanted to take some voc ed at Van Buren Tech, but was struggling because they needed their Algebra 2 class. And normally it would have been, well, sorry, you can't go. You don't have to take your Algebra 2 class. Well, we can innovate and say, well, there is rules and policies in place that we can give you Algebra 2 credit while you're taking, let's say, your welding class or construction class at Van Buren Tech.
Right.
But we haven't done that before. And that small tweak, innovation, allows us to then do more for you guys so you can get more opportunities and still meet the requirements. And that's just one small piece, but that's what I'm talking about, is how we look at what we currently do, look for those opportunities, and then, maximize it.
Absolutely.
And innovate, so then we can get more for because we're so small, I can't hire more than one. We have,
Right.
a math teacher, or maybe two, I think we have, but.
We have Mr. Herman and Mr.
Right,
Draper.
but you have one for science, but you have one science teacher.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great to have enough? But we're small, 146 kids to date in high school. We don't have the ability to hire another.
Right.
So how do we have to, we have to innovate in what we're doing. And they did that a little bit last year. Mr. Bohan came back and restructured some of the science courses. And so that they would have like integrated chem physics. So now you're getting all what you need. So that's it.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things good and well. Innovate on that, build on that, turn it out.
Absolutely. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Dunn. We will now return to the Woodhouse Report. Thank you. Finally, we close by celebrating the MHS Athlete of the Week from this week is Martell Enright for his outstanding performance against Wyoming Lee in last week's game. That's all that we have for this week. I'm Brock Woodhouse. Go Cats!